Hi everybody, I'm Renee, by the way. We have a rare book haul video. You're not going to see very many of these. I don't buy that many books. Mostly used books are the ones that I buy, and I go to the thrift store every couple months, and if I see something there, especially on the day when I get the 25% discount because I'm over 55, then I'm so happy. But over the years, I've gotten very judicious about what I pick up there. Donated a lot of books that I've picked up at the thrift store because I was like so happy and surprised to see a particular book there, but then it's not the book that I really want. For any of you that are new here, or just because it's been a while since I've done a bookshelf tour, these are my bookshelves. I have these two shelves, and then I have identical two shelves on the other side of the fireplace. And I'm regularly calling the books to be just very honest with myself about, oh yeah, that's something I picked up, but as my tastes have evolved and time has gone on, I haven't touched this book, and I probably never will. And then I just donate it. I want to keep my space used for things that I really want to read. When do I keep a book that I've read? Only when it's something that I feel like I want to have that because I might want to read it again. It was so awesome. Or simply having the thing on my shelf reminds me of that reading experience. For instance, Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. I read that, I think it was last summer. I'm never going to read that book again. That once and done, a crazy experience, but I have it because it takes me right back to the summer that I read that, and my experience of reading it just takes me right back. Okay, but I realized that I happen to be in a few local bookstores. I live in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, and I happen to be in a few bookstores just coincidentally pretty close together. One of them was because I wanted to buy the book that I read on New Year's Day, which is this 84 Charing Cross Road. And I made the decision so last minute that I couldn't order it. And then I couldn't order it used. I did end up finding the only place in my area that had this was the Half Price Books. Place that I love to get puzzles. They're half off. Then we went to one of my favorite bookstores, and it's in the city. It's Amazing Books and Records in Squirrel Hill, which is a neighborhood that is very much college centric. It is right smack beside the University of Pittsburgh campus, Carnegie Mellon, Chatham. So there's a lot of college energy in this neighborhood. The cool thing about this bookstore is that because it's owned by a Jewish family, it's closed on Saturdays, and then it opens an hour after sunset on Saturday. And that opening time changes with the year, of course. So we like to go in December or January because we can make a bookstore visit before or after dinner, and it's a really fun scene. They make an occasion of it when they open up on Saturday evenings. You can get a free beer or wine depending on what vendor or whatever they happen to have. It's all very casual. And the music that they play when you're browsing, this is a used bookstore, and a huge collection of records and or vinyl, I guess it's called now, and literary fiction primarily. And the cool thing about Amazing Books and Records is home of the free book and record. Always get a free used book or record with every 3 that you buy. So it just behooves you to buy 4, because then the price of each book goes down. So you get the 4th one free up to $10. So I found some things. I did get an Anita Brookner, which is called Uncertain something. I have it upstairs. I'm reading it now. I forgot it. So that's book number 4. But the 3 that I found are so cool. That's why I wanted to share them with you. I stumbled on 2 Henry James's books, and the covers are absolutely delicious. The first one is this beautiful cover, The Turn of the Screw, and Other Stories, it says. It says this cost 60 cents. This is a Scholastic Book Services book, believe it or not. The Turn of the Screw, one of Henry James' most mystifying tales, poses a psychological puzzle. Are the 2 children innocent or corrupt? Do ghosts have evil power over them or over their young governess? What are the other stories in here? The Tree of Knowledge, The Pupil, The Figure in the Carpet. That is so cool. How could I pass that up? This is just going to be a delight to read because of the little book itself. Then the next one is the other Henry James, and don't you also love this cover? What Macy Knew. I don't know about this book. A Doubleday Anchor little paperback. Anchor Books edition 1954. This is a story of a girl whose parents have just been divorced. We watch through her eyes as her parents pursue their separate lives with different lovers, all the while competing for her affection and approval, and so on. I am more into reading these 2 just because of the covers now than I am, I don't know, The Portrait of a Lady. I don't know what I'll do. But anyway, the last one that I picked, which was like, I don't know anything about this at all, but the reason that I got it is it's a beautiful vintage red spine, and I love those. And I looked inside and I looked at the description and I was so intrigued. So this is Italo Calvino's If on a Winter's Night a Traveler. You go into a bookshop and buy If on a Winter's Night a Traveler by Italo Calvino. You like it, but there is a printer's error in your copy. You take it back to the shop and get a replacement, but the replacement seems to be a totally different story. You try to track down the original book you were reading, but end up with a different narrative again. Is that like meta? I don't know what's going on. Well, when I went to the register or whatever, when I went to the counter to check out, the young man there said this was one of his favorite books. He was like, oh my God, you have something in store. So don't spoil it for me in the comments, but I would love to know how any of you feel about this one if you read it. Then so I mentioned I go to the thrift store, every once in a while, every couple months really, just to allow the whole thing to turn over. And you just will not believe what I found because, again, I'm very picky about what I choose there. I'm no longer going to buy like a mass paperback edition of David Copperfield that is so small that I don't know if I'll ever read it, like that kind of thing. So very picky, but in a really nice condition, I found Willa Cather's My Antonia, which is something that I really hope to get to this year. So that was cool. Then you'll never believe it. I stumbled across, I know you can't see these here, so I'll show you the cover. I stumbled across some of the quartet of the Elena Ferrante, My Brilliant Friend quartet, the Neapolitan quartet, sorry. And this, so I looked in the flap and I could tell that The Story of a New Name is book number 2. So I got excited. I don't own My Brilliant Friend, by the way, but it's on my list to read this year. And then The Story of a Child, The Story of the Lost Child is number 4. So 2 and 4, and in really good condition, to the point where, especially this one, it felt like it had never even been opened. And so this was early on in my scanning of the different bookshelves. And I thought, well, what are the chances? Like, could there ever be like more of these here? And I love these editions. Well, believe it or not, I did find the third, which is Those Who Leave and Those Who Stay. So yeah, all 3, for a steal. But I didn't find My Brilliant Friend. I didn't actually expect to find My Brilliant Friend. I thought if there was any book that was there and someone was familiar with, it would probably be that one. But who knows? I don't know. I'm just so, like, now I have to read My Brilliant Friend, right? I mean, I got these for a couple dollars each with my discount. Yeah, so I'm even more inspired to read My Brilliant Friend. And you know, at the end of the day, if I don't click with it, I will find a home for these beautiful books. But they are so beautiful, aren't they? Yeah, I mean, that was probably the best type of thrift store trip that I have actually ever had. Extremely rare. I don't ever expect to have a trip like that again. So anyway, that's my haul. As I said, I don't tend to do haul videos here. If I find a book at Goodwill here and there every few months, then I don't usually talk about it. But I just thought this was an extraordinary fun one because of my finds at the Goodwill and these delightful covers. Thanks for joining me. I hope you join me on the next one.